holding meetings, y'all, meeting on different things or talking about stuff with the business, or you're going to lunch to discuss something, you can't deduct that from anything really, because you're not an LLC. You're not positioned the right way tax wise in order for you to be able to write certain things off. So that's another difference in the LLC and the sole proprietorship, and why an LLC helps you more. So yep. So where was I? I was going to talk about the hiding of the money. So like I said, everybody is not hiding their money. A lot of people are though. So let's say, let's just be real. Some reasons that people are hiding their money could be to stay in a certain tax bracket, so that they can decrease their tax fees. Okay, so if I don't want to pay a whole bunch of taxes, but I know I made this amount of money, I might hide my money and say, oh, we only made this, we only had that. Okay, and if you are in a sole proprietorship and you're just an employee for yourself and you're doing your taxes, and you don't want to, have to get out of this tax bracket that allows you to be able to get a tax return instead of having to pay in, you might, and I've seen a lot of times, and I've been guilty of this myself at one point in my life, that you might be claiming less, or claiming a certain amount, like you might be claiming a certain amount that is not totally reflective of everything, or you might have moved some money over here, something like that, to make yourself look different as far as when it comes to your tax bracket. So you're basically hiding some money there, or you're putting it towards something else, or you're saying that it was a gift or whatever, in order to not have to pay taxes on that money. The great thing about having an LLC is that you don't have to worry about hiding that. That's the business money. That ain't your money. That's the business money. It's a separate taxes. That's what the business did. So, you can say, like, I was paying myself this, and there are different apps. One in particular I'm gonna mention is Paychecks, and that is how you can basically set up something that shows that this is how much you were paid from your business. So for instance, if your business made $75,000 in a year, and with all the expenses that went in and out of the business, maybe you only paid yourself $30,000, or whatever amount that was. That is the amount that is going to reflect on your personal assets, and that other $45,000 belongs to the business assets, or what the business grossed, and then of course you're gonna with the business taxes, deduct from that what your expenses were, those things I was talking about that were tax deductible, your meetings, gas in the car, stuff like that. And here's some other things that are definitely worthy of really highlighting with having a LLC. A lot of people don't know that an LLC opens up some doors for your business. Some banks will give you a bank account with you just being a sole proprietor, but most major banks won't. I know with Chase, they will not unless you have an LLC. And what that does is gives your business free money. It's not free, but basically you get a leg up. You get some seed money, business loan, and sometimes you might have more access to grants, which is free money, by you being an LLC. You have access now to government contracts being an LLC. They're government contracts now looking at a sole proprietorship. No, you need to be at least an LLC, if not a C Corp or one of them other corps, that you need to research on your own time. Now, another perk, along with that, having more funding for your business goals and your business needs, you also are able to get things under the business, because just like you are an entity as a physical living person, the business is an entity, but it's not a physical living person, but it's still an entity. It's still something that makes and does something. It makes money. It has a presence. That's why there's taxes filed on the business. So just like you use your social security number and your name in order to go get a car, get a house, whatever, you can do the same thing with your LLC. Now, this is something that I don't know, I felt like everybody should know this, but everybody doesn't. Everybody does not know that, you are like able to do so much more when you have a business. Because let's say I have an LLC and we have a transportation part of the business. Not even a transportation company. It's just part of the business involves transportation. Whether the transportation is me getting back and forth to the business. It could just be that, you can get the business credit and use that for anything pertaining to the business. So you could essentially go get a whole vehicle, lease a car, buy a car with your business credit for your business. And then write off the gas and the mileage, all of that kind of stuff from that vehicle. Okay. You also can, get property under, with your business credit, because essentially it's a credit card. It's a line of credit or a loan or something like that they're giving your business in good faith of that you're going to make this revenue in order for you to pay that money back. So of course you don't want to bite off more than you can chew, but one thing that saves you is that, let's say your business doesn't do as well, as you think it's going to do. One of the things that I learned, when I got my degree in business, one of the first things, like Business 101, was that a lot of businesses fail within the first 3 to 5 years. That's very realistic. You don't want to ever, tell yourself that I'm just going to fail, it's not going to work, because of course then you won't even try. But you need to be, in reality of knowing that sometimes things don't always work out. And you want to protect yourself. You always want to have a plan B, C, D, X, Y, Z, in order to, have your sanity, obviously, you know what I'm saying, and protect yourself. So with the LLC, if you had invested wherever into this business and something happens and, maybe you have, a death in the family, anything could occur, God forbid. You definitely want to be able to bounce back, and that will enable you to be able to bounce back, because you could essentially go bankrupt or whatever, and it's still not going to touch wherever your personal assets were. So, the great thing about being a sole proprietorship, obviously, is that you went into business, you started, you executed, you're doing it, and that's so commendable. That's about it. The great thing about sole proprietorship. Oh, and also that it's a little bit less paperwork. Okay, cool. But when you become a business owner, when you're an entrepreneur, you're not in it for easy. Yes, you end up making things easier if you have certain things in place, like what we're talking about. You definitely will end up freeing more time for yourself as you become less of a worker and more of a boss and more of an owner. And automate more things. You definitely have a lot more freedom when you can do that, and I will be discussing automation at a later time. But definitely you didn't get in it for easy, because you have to put the work in order to even get to the easy. Most of the time business is not like start to finish, this was just so easy, it just and the money just made itself. No, usually it's not. Unless you selling something else, but that's a live or a video for another day. But basically, you got to put that work in. So, if the sole proprietorship is easy for you because you're just starting off, great. But at some point, you're going to want to switch over to being more than that, unless you only want your business to stay in this box. If you want your business to be able to grow, you're going to have to change it at some point because your tax bracket is going to be astronomically crazy. And then, you know, you're going to have all these personal assets that you've accumulated and acquired. You know, if you've been making enough money, you know, over, you know, this time, if your business been successful past those 3 to 5 years and all that kind of stuff, you definitely are going to have a whole lot tied up into that business because you sole proprietor legally. So if something happens, your whole world could crumble or something, depending on the magnitude of what it is. So just to protect yourself as well, that's another reason why you should switch to an LLC and quit playing with sole proprietorship. You know, if you're doing it right now and that's what you feel like you need to do, leave it for a certain length of time, you know, whatever length of time that's comfortable for you, obviously, but make sure that you don't get too comfortable with being small or mediocre in your business if you really want it to grow and not just be a hobby part-time thing or, you know, something that is not going to really elevate you to where you can't leave your day job or whatever you're trying to do. Okay. But that's all I got. I just wanted to break that down. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Bye. Link in the bio, in the description. Like, share, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Good night.